you have overbite? Do you want to fix it? How do you do it? Let me tell you. Time for some PFOing so you know where you're going. Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. Ryan Packard, and if you're a child or if you're a parent of a child who has overbite, or if you have an adult, you're like, I have overbite, what do I do? Well, today we're specifically gonna talk about kids who have overbite. And I'm talking about kids who are nearing their growth spurt, their adolescent growth spurt. In our office, we like to use the appliance called the herbst. There are different other techniques. The herbst is a glued in appliance, all right? So glued in, can't come in and out, at least it's not supposed to unless things are breaking, or sometimes it's really tricky. The anatomy of the teeth makes it hard for it to stay in. Lots of different things, but generally speaking, it stays in. You can't take it out like a retainer. And then what the herbst does is it pushes your lower jaw forward. The idea is we are trying to get some growth modification. You're like, whoa, that's a special word. Yes, that's why you do it while you're growing or going through the significant growth spurt. If you're always growing, right? So you can't just do the herbst whenever and it's gonna work the same way as if you do it during your growth spurt, which is when you're growing the fastest. You're like, wow, I didn't know that. Well, of course, that's why you come see me, the orthodontist. Listen, okay? The herbst is gonna posture it forward. You leave it in there for several months, and then we hope that we get the stabilizing growth in at your joint area and the rest of your jaw, stabilizing that position, getting rid of your overbite, what we call overjet in the orthodontic profession. We're here to show you what that's like to get the device in. Without further ado, let's go. First step, we gotta dry, because there's different components. We're gonna put two components on top, crowns around the back molars. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. See all that blue glue? You can use different kinds of glue, but we use blue glue. It doesn't stick so much that it makes it really hard to get the crown off the tooth when you're ready to get it out, but it holds it well enough, generally speaking. Okay, then you use the bite stick, orange in our case, and you bite on it, and that's what shoves that crown up over your tooth. You get some of that blue excess that comes out, that's normal. Bite. Ooh, you'll notice if you zoom really close in, there was a little hole on the outside, kind of by the cheek, on that crown. And that's for the wire to go through that crown, because you're still gonna use the wires. I mean, not everybody uses braces with herbst, but we do. Look at that, glue inside the crown, put it around. Now, one step you didn't see with this, okay, we're still going through the biting parts now, is how do you get those crowns to go around your teeth? Well, you have to do the separators first. Check out our other video. Separators in between your teeth first, so you have space for the crowns or the bands, metal bands. Again, she's wiping off the excess glue. Get all the spit out. We need dried teeth. Okay, now we're gonna add the bottom component of the herbst. So you got the two crowns on top, that's the top components, and then the bottom. It's basically two crowns with the giant wire that connects both of them, all right? And it's got these two bars on the outside of your teeth. Same kind of glue, at least we do here. Sometimes we use a special glue if we need it to be really sticky. What we also didn't show you as part of this is that before, like when you're doing the separators in our office, we usually take off a few brackets. Those teeth that we're putting these rings around, they had brackets before, and we take those off as part, because they're gonna be replaced with these crowns. And that bottom portion of the herbst in particular has an arm that comes forward, and it will hit the brackets if the brackets are there. So we have to take those brackets off too. So there's a few brackets that come off as part of delivering the herbst. But don't worry, when the herbst comes back out, we, in our office, we put those back on. Tastes a little nasty. It's not gonna hurt you if you swallow a little bit, but we try to get all of it out for you. If you remember, if you need suction, just raise your hand. Look, there it is, there it is. We have a little bar that comes behind it that goes to the back tooth. Sometimes those components are called, well, not sometimes, they are called rests, but sometimes we use rests to help stabilize the crowns. And again, once we get it into place, in order to help the glue harden, right, we need light. These crowns, they feel a lot of pressure when you get the whole herbst hooked up, and so it can dislodge the crowns if they're not well seated, or if there's weakness in the crown. We're adding a little bit of extra glue. We're adding a little bit of extra glue to try and seal off some of the edges where the crown is connected to the tooth. Look at all that blue glue smeared all over the place. And there's the light. You light all those different spots. Rinse it out, spit it out. Now what we gotta do is we gotta put the wires. So there's the herbst component, and then we gotta put the wires, we put wires into our braces that are still on the teeth and connect those to the herbst. This whole thing, you were getting connected, all right? Put the wire back in, and it usually takes a little bit of time. We bend the wire, and so that's not something we showed here, bending the wire, so that takes a little bit of time. Then we put the wire in, that's the bottom one. Yep, see? And they're gonna use maybe the colors to like hook them onto the brackets, hook the wire into the brackets. Remember those holes I was talking to you about? That's what the wires go into on the herbst. That's how they connect. What she's doing there is she's bending the wire on the back end to try and lock it in. Again, we're just trying to make this, basically this whole system, your top and your bottom jaws connected so you can push your jaw forward. The top one doesn't have a wire yet, but it's getting one. And now the top wire's in. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna tighten those in the back, try and help secure everything. Gotta reach really far back there. So hopefully you have, lips that Vaseline on them or something that they're not like super chapped because they pull a little bit. These are the colors that everybody wants. Chose blue. Not every type of bracket needs colors. Some brackets that don't have covers over the top of them have these covers like doors that clip over the wire. If you don't have that, then you need to have these colors that tie the wire in. Now is the part that you might have seen in our other videos or online. The herbst has an arm on the side that connects the top crown to the bottom jaw, right? And we have screws, little baby screws that go into the crowns that we just placed. That's what you're seeing right there. We use an Allen wrench, crank it in there, make it tight, and then you got the arm that's hanging out up there, and we're gonna pull it down towards the bottom and then screw that piece in. Now you've got one arm that's connected. Again, you have to kind of pull the cheek back a little bit far. There's the other arm. It's a little hole on the arm. You gotta put the screw through the hole. Okay, look, got the screw, put it in the hole, and now we are turning it, trying to tighten it. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Hopefully you don't have screws come out. Sometimes they do though. We try to make it super duper tight, but again, like I said, you're eating, you're doing all sorts of things that slowly may loosen the device over time. Here's, look at that. Got the screw. We're trying to be very careful right there, and it's in. Oh, it popped out, look at that. Trying to be stable, and there it is, it's in. And oh, came out again. It's really tricky. It's really tricky. We're dealing with very small areas. Same thing, Allen wrench. Screw that all the way in. That arm is just dangling until we get the bottom component screwed in too. Okay, so now we're adding what we call a shim to the arm because the lower jaw is gonna come forward, right? Sometimes the orthodontist doesn't push it all the way forward at first, or at least when it's built, it's not built to push your jaw all the way forward. So you add these little metal circle, half circle things, and you crimp them around the arm, and what that does is it slowly pushes your jaw forward based on your needs. Notice how your bite doesn't touch as well in the back anymore. That's normal. Cut up your food into small pieces. Takes a little bit of time to adapt to, but your bite will change over time. So what we are seeing is a forward posturing of the jaw because of the device. I didn't show you the whole setup in there, darn it. Didn't get a good picture, but you got the two arms on the side. Remember, you got the device on the bottom, the two devices on the top. That's all connected together with wires. Just so much fun. Listen, correcting overjets, excessive overjets, overbite with the herbst when you are growing. Remember, adolescent growth spurt, not because you grow like your entire life. The highest rate of growth is during your adolescent growth spurt, and if you can try to correct your overjet, excessive overbite, then you have a great chance of stabilizing it forward. Sometimes it's just massive and you need to include other things, but today was just showing you the herbst. So if you're getting a herbst, hopefully that gives you some insight, that feel a little bit better about that. Again, it looks a little daunting, but you'll get it. You'll get used to it. It will work. Believe, or at least has a really good chance of working. Timing is key. So, hey, if you have excessive overbite, come find us so that we can help you try to fix your overbite, what we call overjet. But if you can't, share this with your friends so that we can open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth, fixing excessive overjets, and beautify your bite as part of that process. That's all I got. Just a little PFO so you know where you're going. Packard out.